Asking friends to lie, playing the victim, and some well-timed blackouts. O.J. Simpson's hypothetical confession featured some seriously chilling details. After being acquitted of the brutal murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown and her friend Ronald Goldman in the mid-90s, O.J. Simpson wrote a book about it. In 2006, Simpson released If I Did It, in which he presented a supposedly hypothetical account of how he could have committed the crime, which he still maintained he didn't do. He also conducted an interview with the book's publisher, Judith Regan, which was set to air on Fox News. After being shelved for over a decade, Fox decided to air the special in 2018, and it featured a slew of shocking revelations. For instance, during the interview, Regan asked Simpson about a 1984 incident with a baseball bat.
I don't know why this has become such a big deal.
Simpson explained that he'd pushed back the date of his wedding to Brown, claiming that this is something most men do. He revealed that during this discussion, he'd been sitting on the hood of Brown's car while holding a baseball bat between his legs. After bouncing the bat against a tire, it hit the rim of the car, which didn't go down well.
And she says, if you damage that, you're going to have to pay for it. And I go, well, if I pay for that, I guess I have to pay for this too. And I kind of hit the front of her car.
According to the Los Angeles Times, this account isn't quite right, however. At Simpson's trial, it was revealed he had actually smashed the windshield, and when the cops arrived, he simply told them it was his car and that there was no problem. This would become a disturbingly regular pattern. Later in the interview, O.J. Simpson went into detail about what happened on New Year's Eve 1989.
I always said it was the most depressing and sad night of my life.
That night, one of the couple's frequent arguments got out of control. According to Simpson, they were both pretty tipsy, and Nicole Brown had allegedly become fixated on a comment made earlier in the evening by Catherine Edwards, the then fiancée of fellow NFL running back Marcus Allen. The comment was apparently related to Edwards' implication that Simpson had allegedly bought her a pair of gold earrings, leading Brown to believe that her husband may have been cheating. Simpson alleged that after Brown began pushing him, he threw her out with little concern for her well-being. The altercation prompted the police to respond.
She got physical with me, and obviously I'm bigger. I got more physical with her.
According to the Los Angeles Times, the incident was much worse than Simpson's description. Brown, who reportedly appeared bloody and dazed, ran toward officers screaming that Simpson was going to kill her. In a police report, Simpson is quoted as having said, "The police have been out here 8 times before, and now you're going to arrest me for this?" In the Fox interview, Simpson denied that the police had responded to his home on as many as 8 occasions. Since the 1989 incident was somehow his first arrest, there was no public record to contradict him. The 1989 incident seemingly marked the beginning of the end for the couple, and they would divorce in 1992. O.J. Simpson, however, had some trouble letting go of the relationship. As reported by the Washington Post, Nicole Brown's friends and family claimed that he had stalked his wife and anyone she attempted to date throughout their divorce. Simpson even allegedly kept a notebook in which he tracked his ex-wife's daily routine. During his interview with Regan, Simpson admitted to one incident in which he supposedly ran into Brown and her then-boyfriend while they were out on the town. After the encounter, Simpson admitted that he went to Brown's house, where he saw the pair having an encounter through a window. He decided to hit the door, apparently only to alert his ex to the fact that she could be seen from outside.
I just hit the door twice and left.
Simpson said he realized in that moment that his relationship with Brown was truly over. However, Brown's boyfriend at the time remembers the incident a bit differently. Speaking with Dayton Daily News in 2017, he alleged that Simpson kicked the door in and threatened them before leaving. Since the police were not called, there is no public record of this having happened. According to O.J. Simpson, in his jaw-dropping Fox interview, he would often attend family outings with Nicole Brown and their children, and occasionally they would get together alone. During one such dinner, Brown allegedly made the shocking confession that she had slept with Simpson's friend Marcus Allen at some point after their divorce. Simpson also claimed that Allen had admitted to the fling and that all of Nicole's close friends were aware of it.
I thought it was wrong because she had always been, really, honestly, she had always been the moral compass of our group of friends.
However, Allen flatly denied this claim at Simpson's civil trial. In a deposition, Allen also claimed that during Simpson's criminal trial, the former NFL star called him from jail and asked him to admit to the affair. Per CNN, Allen alleged that Simpson asked him to lie in order to paint a picture of Brown as an adulterer. Instead of agreeing, Allen ended the friendship. Perhaps the most troublesome domestic incident of all happened less than a year prior to the murders. During the Fox interview, Simpson described his reaction to the rumor he'd heard that Brown was having drug-filled sex parties at her house while his children were present. As the football player explained, he decided to show up at her house unannounced and read her the riot act. Brown called 911, and the recording of the call was a key piece of evidence at his trial. In the transcript of the call, Brown said that Simpson broke down the back door to gain access to her house and that he was going nuts. Simpson could be heard yelling his head off throughout, while Brown pleaded with him to leave and pointed out that the kids were sleeping in an upstairs room. In the interview, Simpson claimed he simply did what any father would do. According to the Los Angeles Times, the 911 operator who took the call testified at the murder trial that she categorized the incident as life-threatening. However, Simpson was not arrested that night. According to O.J. Simpson, a friend, who he refers to as Charlie, told him that drug-involved shenanigans were going on at Nicole Brown's house.
I remember thinking, well, whatever's going on over there's got to stop.
Simpson said that hypothetically he parked in the alley in his infamous white Bronco, put on a cap and gloves, and had Charlie hold on to a knife that he kept in his car. He then hypothetically entered through the back gate, and soon thereafter Goldman appeared, and a verbal confrontation ensued. Brown joined them, and Simpson hypothetically confronted her about what Goldman was doing there.
As things got heated, I just remember Nicole fell and hurt herself.
According to Simpson's account, Goldman allegedly entered a martial arts stance, which the football player hypothetically didn't take kindly to. After taking the knife from Charlie, Simpson claimed that he didn't remember what happened next. Only after he came to his senses did he hypothetically notice that there was blood everywhere. During the interview, Simpson even broke out laughing while discussing how much blood there was.
Blood and stuff around. I hate to say this, but this is hypothetical. I'm sorry.
In his hypothetical scenario, O.J. Simpson claimed he blacked out during the commission of the actual murders themselves. When pressed on this point, after accurately describing the crime scene, he backtracked slightly by invoking the power of his imagination.
I don't think any two people could be murdered the way they were without everybody being covered in blood.
Simpson elaborated while referring back to the images taken at the crime scene, saying, "And of course, I think we've all seen the grisly pictures after. So yeah, I think everything was covered in blood. Would have been covered in blood." Asked if he ever blacked out before, he replied,
I would imagine it's something that you would probably automatically have trouble wrapping your mind around it.
If his account were purely hypothetical, the blackout might be considered a strangely specific detail to include. Also, if Simpson were speaking purely hypothetically, his phrasing would likely remain very consistent throughout, as he would presumably want to be clear that he was not recalling actual memories. As a result, Simpson's wavering regarding the alleged blackout might cause some to be suspicious.
To be honest, I know that to be true, yes.
Throughout the Fox interview, O.J. Simpson is very delicate with his phrasing, but at some of the most critical moments, his phrasing slips into a straight first-person account. In the first of these instances, he simply says that he doesn't recall when he's asked if the back gate to Brown's property was broken or unlocked, allowing him to gain entry. But as his account progresses, it becomes harder and harder for any reasonable viewer to believe that Simpson is describing something hypothetical that didn't actually happen.
It's hard for me to describe it, I'm telling you.
For example, in Simpson's supposedly fictional account, Ron Goldman told him that he was there to return some glasses. Regan asked if he believed this, and Simpson explained that whether or not he believed Goldman's reasoning was immaterial at that point. When describing how Brown came out and told him to leave, he revealed that he hadn't liked her demeanor and became more combative. Describing the escalation of the altercation, Simpson said,
I do remember that portion, taking a knife from Charlie, and to be honest, after that, I don't remember.
Regan also directed him to a passage in his book in which he claimed he removed one of his gloves before taking the knife from Charlie. Straining to think about the moment in question, Simpson replied,
I had no conscious memory of doing that, but obviously I must have because they found the glove there.
Finally, at the conclusion of his story comes the most chilling portion of the entire interview. With what appeared to be utmost sincerity, he looked into Regan's eyes and said of the murder's aftermath,
It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
At the interview's end, O.J. Simpson lamented that there was a rush to judgment by the police and the media. He claimed that his reputation as a nice guy had been tarnished and that in only 4 days, any goodwill the public had once felt for him had completely evaporated. Hammering home his own victimhood, Simpson said that although Brown and Goldman had died, their deaths had killed his reputation, to the point where he felt as though he'd been murdered.
To this day, it bugs me that it seems that people wanted me to be guilty. That really bothers me.
This sentiment is understandably difficult to reconcile with the very existence of the interview and book. But Simpson seemingly couldn't help but indulge in some retroactive image rehabilitation. During the low-speed chase that preceded his arrest, he claimed that the majority of onlookers appeared to be on his side, saying,
I was being depicted as a fugitive on the radio, but from the side of the roads, it was more people cheering.
Whether or not you believe Simpson's hypothetical confession, his insistence on being portrayed as the victim in the scenario is pretty chilling. If you or anyone you know is dealing with domestic abuse, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You can also find more information, resources, and support at their website.